Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Hey, welcome everybody to another Spiritual Rockstar Podcast show. And I'm so grateful to be with you today. We have an amazing guest. We have so much fun together. We just met not too long ago, like a number of my guests. And it just feels like we could just talk and play and just having fun, just talking or whatever. We can do anything. Like we just have fun doing whatever. She's that kind of person, really. Anyway, right? Anybody'd have fun being with Deb, and that's what you're gonna find. It's a big playground. You can play. You can share your wisdom with the world. She's going to help you to know how to do that and let that be fun and playful and easy. And that's why I wanted to have her on, because it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be lighter and playful and all about expansion, right? So we're going to get into it in just a moment here with Deb. So I just want to say hello first. Hi, Deb.
Hi, Daniel. Super excited to play again with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so juicy, the conversations we can get into, and we're going to get into that here in a sec. I just want to tell you about Deb first. Now, Deb King is an award-winning coach's coach. She's promoter of conscious businesses, uplifting humanity. Over the last 20 years, she has coached, mentored, trained, and worked with thousands of people globally. In 2020, Deb co-founded the Wisdom Playground, a new era business incubator that explores doing business in fresh ways to create better results with greater ease, joy, and impact. Deb describes herself as what? As happiness ambassador and an enthusiastic human with a passion for music, travel, life, people, and all things that enhance well-being. Her unconventional career includes being a bouncer. A bouncer. All right, that's pretty cool. And nightclub manager. Don't mess with the bouncer here, okay? Nightclub manager in London, plus a range of other leadership, sales, and marketing roles. I relate to some of that stuff there too. Okay, today she now utilizes all her skills supporting coaches, healers, practitioners, and leaders to get their wisdom out into the world and truly thrive. What a fun person to be with today. Yeah, so great to have you here, Deb. You sound like that one of those adventurer people. We got to try it all out at least once, right? And man, I love that. I love the desire to play and to explore and to suspend judgment. That I'm already downloading everything, but like I just know you already after talking with you once anyway, right? So funny. You know what I tell the other day? Like my family will say things to me like, well, I got this situation with somebody, I've never met them, right? This is what's going on and whatnot. And I'll do stuff like this all the time. I'll be like, well, it sounds like, that's the way they are. They're always wanting this and wanting that, and this is how they are. And they're like, you don't even know them. I says, yeah, but I know everybody. I know everybody. So don't tell me I don't know. I know everybody. So I know you, Deb. I know you too. So, but yeah, you have such a fun background, really, in my eyes. But I do wonder, like, someone is so playful, curious, and open. Like, I think one of the things that shuts that down is trauma, right? People who were very trusting and like, oh yeah, yes to everything, right? And then like they've been, maybe abused or traumatized in different ways. And kind of want to go right there because I know like that's kind of part of my past too. Like come in the world, yeah. And I've had this pattern in my life where you're too much, So then I become I am more naturally introverted anyway. So then it's like, oh, I could be really introverted now, right? So I just dim that light, don't be too much ever. And it's been probably, one of my biggest growth points and also the so-called nemesis, but like, like is that whole dance with like showing up. Because it's like the experience of your joy could be crushed. Someone else could crush you, like this illusion, right? Like, but so I love to talk about your story, if you have a story around that, and then what do we do about it then ultimately as we get into the show? But like, what inspired you to be doing the work you do today, especially around playing and having fun and being the way that you are? I'd love to hear about that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And just because someone like myself and yourself focus on playing and choosing the happy side of things doesn't mean we don't experience stuff, negative trauma, all the stuff that isn't as fun, let's say.
Right.
But like
Right.
you said, often teaches us so much. And I have a real feeling that all of it is perfect, and all of it is just helping us get to know ourselves more. And for me, I always wanted life to be fun. As a kid, I really remember being very sensitive, and I think that I was too sensitive and I shut it all down. So I
Mhm.
actually don't have much memory because I think I was not present. I was not in my body, and I just had strategies to not feel and not not experience being in my body that much, really. I
Mhm.
was a
Yeah.
party on when
Mhm.
I passed towards the end of high school. I basically, from the age of 17 to 30, I really gave that a good crack at trying to find happiness externally. Didn't find it there. Of course, I had moments of it and had a lot of good times. And I guess I was always unconventional. I didn't ever, when I was young, I did not like the idea of get up, go to work, come home, get up, go to work, come home. It just wasn't for me. And so all my jobs tended to be more unconventional. I love seeing people enjoy themselves. So I worked in the music industry in London and hospitality, and that's where I started on the bar, became a bouncer, became a nightclub manager. My boyfriend at the time was a DJ. Like, life was truly party, party, party.
Wow.
Yeah, at some point that kind of, I realized it wasn't truly fulfilling me, and it was the start of starting to look within. Stuff happened, and I ended up coming back to Sydney in 2003 to become a life coach. I'd heard about
Mhm.
it for a couple of years, and I didn't even really know what it was, but I just resonated with it. And then I started my very first life coaching course on my 31st birthday in Australia. And ever since then, which is 20 years now, pretty much have been on a personal development, spiritual development, entrepreneurial development journey
Mhm.
to explore. And what I realized is, early on, I was very much still in my head. I would be reframing things and all that, but actually it took quite a number of years to learn how to actually be in my heart and really feel, and be willing to feel all the feelings, and not be so petrified of what I thought were negative feelings, and see the gifts in all of it. So yeah, it has been a journey. Luckily now, I think it's easier for people to fast track that process. They don't have to take as many years as I did. but, um, but yeah, we all have our experiences that kind of crack open our heart, and we get to choose how we move forward from there. So I am far from perfect, but I guess I'm much better at loving all parts of myself, all my not perfect bits that I used to judge heavily and beat myself up about. And I've learned to be more loving towards myself and others. And it's an ongoing practice, really, in terms of choosing what feels good and what doesn't, and keep on choosing. We're choosing every moment, really. So
Right.
did that answer the question? Now I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's we're just starting the conversations. It's, so totally. So for people who could be sharing wisdom, could be sharing things, like I had a guest on recently who does books and what helps get people together in books and all that sort of thing. And she talked about the importance of stories, like the stories of our life and how they shape our life, and how so many people don't think their story matters, that there's so many people that feel that way. I mean, people maybe like you and me get it by now because like we've spoken so many times. We're like, oh my God, yeah, it's so important. We see it, but people who haven't done that yet or haven't done it too much, they don't understand like how important all these different stories are. Because it's sort of like there's this one big story unfolding in a way like in life, and we're all interconnected. So every time we share our story, like you just shared a part of your story, right? It's part of your background, and like that's impacting somebody in some way. Oh my God, that reminds me of all that I've been through. And man, I've really persevered. And man, I used to not be in my body either. I'm, still not in my body. Man, that's a reminder. I need to get more in my body or whatever. Somehow it's impacting someone's life right now. And it seems like I don't know what the Wisdom Playground is about. You've told me a little bit about it, but it seems to me that one of the number one reasons why people wouldn't share their gifts or wisdom is because they either think it won't be good enough or it doesn't matter. I'm just another person. And therefore, how can it be fun? Because I don't even think it's valuable, right? So I'm trying to hit both sides of this because we're talking about the play and then sharing the wisdom and everything. And for me, I'll just tell you this real quick. I hope I'm not like taking the answer away partly, but I don't know, the downloads coming. I'm like, oh, so it's like for me, it's like playing actually is the route to letting it come out. It's like I can't unless there's some playfulness into it. It may be harder or maybe almost too heavy or impossible for me, maybe to share some of the deeper wisdom I have because it's just like, well, I don't know if I trust myself to be able to do that, or, I mean, that could happen to any of us potentially. So let me just sneak that little story away, or maybe I won't share that wisdom. Maybe everybody knows that already, or, like we don't play. It's just like instead of like what I like to do anyway is now I know you all heard this a million times, but love yourself, or whatever. Like it's not a throwaway. It's not just because it's been said a lot doesn't mean it isn't impactful. And there's so many aspects to this, but I wanted to start getting right into that so we can integrate. How do we integrate? Like, what do you see as the issues with sharing wisdom in the world of people's own wisdom and standing in their authority? And then I'm kind of fast tracking it, and then how integrating that with and allowing it to be more approachable by being more playful with it. I don't know. So you tell me.
Well, there's so many things I want to say, but I
Yeah.
feel first thing to remember is we are so much more powerful than we think. Like we have access to infinite possibilities and potentials in every moment. And we're living this human existence. And that's so cool because we get to experience the senses. We get to hear the music and smell the flowers and taste the pizza and all that, right? So we get to have this human experience. And what I used to do is judge myself massively on things, and that created a lot more suffering than I needed. And so I feel that now that I have gotten better at letting go of judgment of myself and others, and it's all the same anyway, and really realize, wow, we have access to anything's possible. What about if we just play with that and tap into what is that inner wisdom that wants to come through and express us? Because as we express that more, we get to learn about ourselves, and that's why we're here anyway, right? So we get to potentially help others, but I actually even think that that it's all about ourselves anyway. Like it's it's not necessarily like that we need to save the world, even though I was big on that for a long time, and I do think we can contribute and make a positive impact, but perhaps we'll make a more positive impact if we're not trying to do that because we think people need that. Like so there's an interesting thing on terms of our intention, where we're coming from and all that kind of stuff. But to answer your question in terms of, yes, lots of people are getting in their own way about sharing their wisdom, even valuing that they have wisdom. But I would say if we're a human being on the planet right now, we have wisdom. We have the experiences we've been through. We've got lessons we've learned. We've got insights we've gained. There is stuff that we have that's unique that actually other people don't have. And what happens is when we can connect with other humans, that's what's one of the best ways to get to know ourselves and each other more and expand our perspectives and open up. And so everyone has wisdom. And for those who have a calling to be a wisdom teacher, if you have, particularly from my passion, fresh wisdom that uplifts humanity, then it is time to share it, to give yourself permission to say, yes, we're all valuable, we're all worthy. So that means me too. And I can share whatever's coming through me and what I feel to share. I think maybe not share it in a way where my way is right and everyone else is wrong. That might not be the best way to share, but to share what you have, your gifts and talents and innate abilities, which the more you share, the more will come through you. So it's a fun thing to do and you can play with it. And yeah, so that's where I'd start with.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I've got, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, oh, like, I'm not that talented. I'm not that great. Like I will go there, believe it or not. Like most people that know me more privately, for sure, like they're like, oh, you really think like you're like can do anything? You think you're so talented? You think you have all these things, right? So that's what they think. But there's still, if someone like me, it's still sometimes I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm really though at the same time, I'm not that great. I'm not, like there is that side of me, and most people probably wouldn't know that, about me privately for sure, because I project a lot of confidence and a lot of everything, right? Almost too much for some people. Like, oh no, I watch America's Got Talent or something, like, whatever, I can do that. Just give me a little practice, I get after it. Like, whatever it is, like, I just, because I have that possibility mentality, like, oh no, that's possible too. And so it helps a lot. It's just having a possibility mentality. So what if it's possible we can share the things we're scared to share? Like I like doing voice channeling. Like when I started doing that so many years ago, like just something like that. That's something I don't do every day for clients in that way, but it's something I have shared in the world. I've got a YouTube channel still out there with voice channeling with Jesus and stuff. But doing these bold things, might have felt bold at first, and I did get ridiculed by some people at first. Oh, what's that all about? That's just your personality, probably sub-personality, and oh, probably that's just you making it up. And yep, yeah, it is something making it all up, right? That's kind of the whole point. And I think that for like healers and truth tellers and all this sort of thing, it's so intangible in some ways, like what we're doing. Like I've said before, like before we got all this stuff going with Zoom and all that, like I was on the phone, like I was talking to people and all I heard is their voice. I don't know if I'm doing anything. Like it's so intangible. But what I've learned over the years, what I learned was that if I'm having a good time, if I'm loving myself, and I just bring people on board to join me for my own party in a way, like that's what works. That's what works. And I promise it'll work for anybody that steps into it that way. People are like, oh, he's having a good time. We love him. We want, or her, or whatever, whoever you are. We love this person. We want to do everything with them because they're so fun, right? And then, yeah, of course, you've got all the rest, your gifts and wisdom and everything. And if you don't think you're a fun, playful person, that's okay too. But if you're having your own sense of play and fun, that's all that matters. Like people will vibe with you, the right people. That's what I've noticed. Dad, what have you noticed? So
Well, I feel you've said a lot of cool points there. One is our play and fun, and that's personal of how we express that. Just because some people are very high energy and others aren't, it doesn't. Yeah. So you just need to be really you and find your own inner joy and what sparks you and lights you up, and open up to possibility and creativity. So that is a really good point. The other thing is it's so true that we're human and we have imposter syndrome at times, and it's okay to have that, but to keep loving ourselves through it and keep taking action anyway, because as you've shown, you had that fear and you got ridiculed at times, but you kept going and it just gets easier. And the truth is doesn't matter what other people think. Like, we actually have to let that go, because what I love this, the reminder that when we die, you know, a few weeks later, most people aren't going to remember us or be thinking about us anyway. So why are we letting anyone that doesn't really matter to us, their opinions matter? Like, it just doesn't matter. We
Right.
make such a big deal about what other people think. And anyone who has huge success on the planet has people who love them and people that will totally speak badly of them. You know, that happens for everyone. So it doesn't matter who you are, it's going to happen. Just don't need to make any meaning about it, and do what's right for you. So that imposter thing is natural, normal. It's just like, let's not let that stop us anymore. Let's leave that in BC before COVID. And the other cool thing you said is, you're making stuff up. I mean, that's the truth. We're all making stuff up. Like, we get to create what we want. So all our beliefs are thoughts we keep thinking, that have a habit of thought that just we create what we believe is what we're creating. So if we want to have a different experience, we can actually choose to believe other stuff and create differently. That's how cool it is. We get to make stuff up. I love that.
Right, exactly. And that's how the magical stuff happens. People say magical creation, it's synchronicity comes from that place. For me, anyway, it's been my experience. Like, I'm just horsing around. Like, that's when the coolest things happen anyway. Like I remember having it was a small live event, but I had a live event I was doing, coming off of training, I will admit. Like, it wasn't directly like people cold off the street coming to my live event. They just learned about me. It was people coming off of a weekend training, then they came to a live event. It was only 13 people. It wasn't like some huge event, but uh it was a multi, I forget how many figures it was, but the offer I made at the event was probably, I don't know, it might have only been 3 to 5,000 or something. It wasn't a big offer, but based on what we got today, especially. And like 10 out of the 13 people signed up. What was the difference between like that and like so many other people do things, why it was so successful, and why, I've had that kind of success and then I haven't, to be honest, too. But why did it happen that time? Is because I was so in my realm and I was so connected. I was so having fun. I was so, it's just, I was trusting myself as a channel so much that I could just tell people authentically, I know you're served in this program. If you join it, it's up to you. I'm getting a yes for you. Like, I could just go to every person, authentically tell them exactly what I was getting. And it was just like, no, there's no resistance within me. Therefore, there's no resistance in them. And people are just like, yep, okay, I'm in. Oh, yep, okay, I'm in. And it was that simple because I just trusted myself. I didn't like, oh, I'm doing a sales thing on them, or I was just being natural. I'm just like, this will serve you. That's all I care about. And that's the rest is up to you. I mean, the money stuff and all that, whatever, invest or not, I don't care, but I'm getting yes, let's do it. And just make it that simple, not making a big deal. Like, it's like we're almost making, like in business, for example, which this is going to intersect completely with everybody in their businesses. We start making the decision for them, right? Well, I don't know if you could afford it, so I'm going to say, I don't know if it's right for you, right? Like, yeah, and then you wonder why nobody wants to come in your program. You're not being a possibility thinker, like, or just being open to what the truth is. Like, this is what I know. It's up to you. Give them their own power back. So a lot of times we just create encumbrances within ourselves about all this stuff, and when it can be like ridiculously easy, and we have no clue. So I'd love to hear your examples of the wisdom you have to share around that, Deb. What are some examples you have where, your clients or you have seen like challenges like at first, and then all of a sudden it's like you move the resistance to false beliefs, right? And all of a sudden it's ridiculously easy. And then you got to get over that, because then sometimes you believe, oh, it shouldn't be easy. Oh my God, let's make it hard again.
Well,
Crazy.
I love that you said you had no resistance. So that is the key, right? Because every moment we're focusing either in two ways. One is like feeling resistance, or one is in alignment. And so when we're in alignment, it is easy. And I love how I'm a bit of a fan of Abraham Hicks. I'm guessing you would be too, being a
Oh yeah,
former.
I like that.
I love how they talk about the stream as like you're either going upstream or downstream. When we actually let go of the oars and we go downstream, that's where everything we want is. If we've got the resistance, we're actually trying to swim upstream, which is not, it's just, that's the struggle. That's the stuff that makes it hard. And if that's what's happening, that's actually not what, like, that's a sign to go, actually let go, like
Right.
to get back in alignment, to focus on feeling good first, and being, like you said, just trusting yourself and just in that full alignment and speaking your truth. It's like, yes, this program will be great for you. You get to choose if you're feeling that too. That's a perfect way to do it. And that for me is number one. So how we're feeling in terms of alignment. And then what's helped me, what happened is, as I mentioned, I've been a coach for about 20 years. I was always really good in the session and would help people shift. But what happens when we shift, we embody the new state, and often we forget where we were. What happened when I met my business partner, Gabby, she had done all this amazing research of what the top coaches on the planet do differently to everyone else. Because sadly, there's only a very small amount of coaches and healers and wisdom teachers who are truly thriving. We want to change that, by the way. But what was really cool in her research, she worked out what the ones that are successful do differently. And there are some specific structural things that make, well, you mentioned earlier about things being intangible. It brings in some tangibility to the progress that the clients are making. So there's some tools that we can use where we help our clients. We actually capture the data that's important for us to know about them so we can serve them, but they also visually see and feel the progress they're making, and on a couple of different areas, which means they absolutely see the value of working with us, rather than just moving on to the new state and not actually remembering that they've gotten all this value. So I think there's a couple of things of approaching it, firstly, from the energetic space and the alignment piece and letting go of the resistance. And then also having the right structure and tools in place so that it is easy. It is like set up where your clients are fully safe. They become raving fans. It's easy for them to continue and can keep expanding with you, because rarely are we done in just one session or just a few sessions. Like, truly, to serve our clients, we do often need to work for quite some time to get the full experience.
Right. So how do you do that? How do you do that? I know, like, when I've had programs and, multi-level, like stage one, next program, I've done those things with groups and all that. And for me, I always know that the key was to constantly recognize the wins and to keep celebrating those. And then, at the same time, continue to point to what's next. Okay, and then this is next. Celebrate next. It's constantly like that. We didn't do it in a necessarily, there wasn't always specific measurements all the time. Sometimes there were in certain ways, like, okay, what kind of month are you having, financially, how many new clients, how many new this, that, we look at different things. Some of it was tangible, some of it was vibrational, but we would recognize it, and then we have people talk about like what has changed. Because you're right, like some people I worked with, like in the past, I remember when I first was getting started, I was working with people with energy clearing and some coaching, but there's a lot of energy clearing in different, at certain stages earlier on when I was online. And I'd be like, so what's changed? And then some of these clients will be like, I don't know, I kind of feel good, but I don't know that's changed my life at all. Like, I don't know if anything's changed. Then I keep asking, no, keep paying attention. What's changing? And then it may take 30 days sometimes. Or like, I ask, yeah, I still don't know what's changed, but I like these sessions. Like, okay, really think about it. Like, what has changed? Tell me, how are your relations? And we start going through it, right? Like, okay, let's look at the different areas. Let's break it down. Well, I guess I guess I kind of did meet my soulmate this month. Oh yeah, I just forgot it. Like literally, like things like that, crazy stuff that you would think anybody would like be top of mind. They're not putting the pieces together, right? They're just like, I don't know, and maybe nothing's changed even. And like you literally, because they're so part of their mind still caught up in the old stories, the old realities, and to integrate them, you have to like point it out to them. Like, and I don't have that issue as much lately because I think my clients are better to be able to recognize that, the clients I work with these days lately, but it still is an issue though. I still have to do it. But so when you say like they have, because I'm hearing the key is like they need to be able to see it, they're able to see it somehow, right? So what is the key with that?
So, well, firstly, you're obviously doing great job. The fact you are continually saying what's changed and what are your wins and what's next. And so you've definitely got some presence on some really important, what we'd say, data there, right? Which
Mm-hmm,
is
mm-hmm.
what I learned from Gabby, which is amazing. Well, one thing I love is that we don't learn from experience, we learn from reflection on experience. So in a sense, there's some tools that we create and we're measuring two data streams. So one is what the client comes to you with in terms of their desired future, their goal, or whatever it is they're wanting to change or shift or create or whatever. So there's a particular stream that you'll be measuring how they're going on that. And then the second one is your skills and knowledge, the skills and knowledge they're developing thanks to your wisdom, that the stuff they didn't even know they were going to get when they signed up with you, they didn't even know it existed. But all that magic that you're actually pretty much teaching them and developing with them on the journey, when you have a tool around that as well, like two simple tools to measure that, what's great is it makes your life really easy, but it also really makes it easy for them to see and feel progress along the way and do that. What are the wins? What's next? And all that in just a tiny bit extra structure.
Yeah, more structure.
Yeah.
That's
So
nice. That's nice. So yeah, I mean, I know like some of the learning modules that everybody's gone through, right? Okay, you check off this thing and then, this video, and then, maybe there's a quiz at the end. All right, look, I actually know something more. Or you have assessment measures. Okay, how's your joy now? You got the 10 scale marker system or whatever it is, whatever the deal is. But there are all these nice things like online. And maybe you know her too, but Marissa Murgatroyd is someone I think of like with this. She always talk gamify it, man, get like a video game, and I love that. I mean, that is so true. Like, how do people get addicted to these games? I want to get to the next level. I want to win the next level. It's just one big game. So that's kind of what I'm getting the vibe from you, right? Right? It's like a big. It's just like sort of like a video game in a way, like the in terms of people that really get like I do get into some video games. I have video games. Like I don't play like endless hours all the time, but I can really get immersed because I'm like, I want to win this and I want to get to this level. I want to get to that level. And that's what I'm hearing from you. Like that is how some of these most successful people on the planet are doing it. Like they're integrating that to a degree, but you've got some secret tools perhaps that help to organize that and put it together in a really powerful way.
Yeah, I mean, gamifying takes it to the next level. I love games myself. I mean, not so much video games, but like lots of game making. I mean, it comes back to the play and making it fun. Yes. And I think that's how we learn better. Like you say, you kind of even take more action because you want to maybe go, oh, I'll just do a bit more because I can get to this level or whatever.
Right.
It's really cool. And where I met my business partner was in a program called Money and You, which is based on experiential learning. It's been around for over 40 years because they play games in the program so they can continue to have games and principles all these years, because everyone that comes could have any level of personal development, whether they've done none or done tons. It doesn't matter, because they play a game, they get a result. And that result will reflect something in their life, their business, their money, their relationships, so it's a very powerful way to learn and experience true transformation when we have games that are designed the right way to get those insights. So yeah, that's one way of doing it. I mean, what the tools I was talking about is like very simple. It's not that complex,
Yes.
but it is still, I guess, people enjoy filling it in. It's simple, it's easy,
Yes.
it's fast. It's
Yes.
very, very powerful information that just fast tracks things.
I have a question about that. Now, the thing that if I was making it very quantifiable, what my reptilian brain would be afraid of, it'd be like, wait a minute, what if they start saying their life sucks? Like it's always like worse every week, and like they somehow are able to convince themselves and me that they're making no progress. It's all getting worse. And so yeah, I'm kind of curious about that. Like, because yeah, it's great if it's going up, but what if it's going down? And like, yeah,
actually, the truth is life happens and we do go up and down, and that's okay, right? So when
right.
the tools designed properly in your areas of wisdom,
Yes.
sometimes your clients might go backwards, but that's okay because it gives you the opportunity to just talk about what's going on and for them to work out their next step. So it's not a bad thing that we don't always have to be going up.
Right.
And it's all just data. Like, so what happened, the way Gabby even discovered this, she was doing a project to build a tech platform for the coaching industry. And she was looking for the process that could be translated into tech that would work to help coaches and clients. And she spoke with hundreds of coaches, hundreds of clients. And the coaching industry people told her not to speak to sports coaches because they're different to our type of coaching and But lucky she's a rebel, and she spoke to sports coaches. And that's where she actually got the real insight that sports coaches, what happened, there was a time when sports coaches became super coaches seemingly overnight when technology was brought in. So what happens is there's all this technology measuring heart rate, steps, way the muscles moving, the passes of the ball, all the different details of the different athletes, sports, all that kind of stuff. So there were specific data points that were captured in this technology. So what it meant is any coach could be now a great coach because they had those baseline important pieces of data that the super coaches had already worked out for them.
Right.
What happened is then she actually was able to unpack and realize how this impacts for this type of coaching we do. Now, when I say coach, I'm talking coach, healer, wisdom teacher, guide, light worker, whatever term you want to call yourself. If you help people go from where they are to where they want to be,
right,
we're calling you a coach, even though it's not the life coach definition, which is very restrictive and a lot of rules. So I just need to point that out because some people don't resonate with the word. And
oh yeah, we always get that, right? Yeah,
that's
so 3D or something or whatever. That's one of the common things is words people don't like or something they don't like. Oh, that's 3D. I don't like it's 3D. We need to use words for to try to communicate language here, so it's okay, right?
Yeah. So what was cool is what realized is actually we're all data capturers. We may not realize that, but when we're working with our clients, there's specific data we're getting from them that helps us help them move forward. And so when understanding that at a deeper level, it sounds really weird, but it's so profound.
Yeah, I mean, I think even because I know there's probably someone listening, it's like, wait a minute, this is getting so 3D, measuring everything, and I get it. Like I've been that guy down into the deep into the data and all the way to forget all the data. I could give a shit about data. It's all about presence, baby, and all the higher dimensions, and nobody needs data and all that. And so I know someone's listening in that might be thinking that right now. Well, I don't know, data matters. We're just trying. I'm an awakening coach. We don't need to measure that. And yet and still, like I'm saying it's for everybody, but even then, like by using measurements can help people to progress even on that, like something that seems intangible, but there are some tangibles, there are some things you can have some sort of a measurement of. So
we have a lot of coaches who are spiritual healers, creative people, like intuitive, like not people that typically resist structure. And to be honest, I was someone who was really not interested in structure systems. I was really it's just, but now I have a love for it, because what I
Yeah.
realized, it's another thing that's so strange. Structure actually creates more ease and freedom. And what it does, if you're a very highly intuitive coach or spiritual healer, or anything working in the higher dimensions, your clients will likely benefit from a couple of tools that also are here in the 3D realm as well.
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
it is, I've seen it time and time again. And yes, presence, obviously, number one. However, there's a lot of potential clients that need to get their head around some stuff, and it just helps them create safety so
Mhm.
that they
Mhm.
can go on the journey with you. So
Right.
it potentially will open up more clients to you if you're open to bringing in a few of those tools. My guess, I mean, we've seen it with a lot of our clients, but that's,
Mhm.
I would say that it would help nearly everyone.
Right, right. Help to integrate the awareness that something's actually shifted. Because people have that experience. Maybe you have a big awakening experience, to use that example. Okay, wow, no, I'm way more awake now, until the next shift hits the fan and you're like, oh, like again, like, how awake are we now? All right, 'cause the consciousness continues to want to evolve through you, right? So it's like, all right, now I'm not awake at all, and I'm back to zero or worse, and negatives, and yeah. So yeah, it's a very but to see it in a new way, like to come up with, yeah, it helps evolve your perspective even on something like that, right? Like, what am I doing? What am I helping people with? I think it's so helpful in so many different ways, is what I'm hearing from you. So I really,
Well,
it's really intriguing. Yeah. Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation today.
what you're saying, yeah, it helps the client, but it helps the coach as
Right.
well make their life easier, to make
Yeah.
sure they absolutely will always get results. It
Right.
makes it easier for them to articulate what they do, because there's a lot of us that are in, not, that intuitive style, that actually struggle to communicate and articulate it in a way that a client feels they understand what we're going to do. And so all of those things just help us be more powerful and serve more people. So it's a bizarre thing that structure can be that helpful.
Right. I think people think that structure is the thing that doesn't give them permission to play. Okay, all right, here we are. We're back in corporate again, or we're back in school again. It's about the grades, baby. You got to get those A+ every single time, no matter what. Better bring that level up. Come on now. And so there's a lot of people who are very burned out. So their first response to something like this might not be positive, is why I'm talking it through. Like, okay, no, that's the last thing I want to do, is bring these measurements.
The cool thing is, when you do it in a way that suits your personal style and your client's needs, they can be
Yes,
so
yes.
simple and really fun and easy. And it's not like, I guess what we are teaching is more the principles. And so you understand why these things matter. And then once you understand that, you make them your own. And
Right.
so, and we have fun templates that make it super easy and
Mhm.
fast track everyone. So
Right.
it's not at all like the corporate structure that we may have a negative association with.
Right. Right.
It's sort of
Right.
like, there's a couple of analogies of, like, all buildings on the planet have engineering principles so that the building stands up, yet all the buildings look different. They're architecturally and interior design different. So it's like you put your own flavor on those engineering principles.
Mhm.
Same with structure of, say, a river bank needs a
Mhm.
bank on the sides to have the river flow.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you just have a swamp, I guess, or, like.
We'll all be swimming in the water.
So we have structure all around us that we possibly don't get present to, that actually helps us create in our life, create
Right.
better.
Right. It's like, just look around, there's structure everywhere.
Yeah. It's not all bad. It's not
No.
at all, like,
Right.
there's definitely experiences we could have had that make really bad systems that aren't people friendly and go, this is ridiculous. But actually, what's exciting is we're in a time where we get to co-create new and better ways forward. We get to consciously choose how to do it better and find better ways. That's what's super exciting. And especially when we understand the principles, it makes it easier to then consciously create even better. More than what we even know right now. I feel like it's very exciting. We are living on such an exciting time right now. What's possible.
So I know you have a whole lot of different ways to encourage people to play and give them that permission. We talked a lot about things overall. We talked about this subject during the show, but we didn't directly talk about, well, how do you create permission to play? I mean, and to share your wisdom. I know you have these 20 different ways to play more. Can you share like a couple of them with us right now, like some little ideas to help the audience with being able to give themselves more permission to play?
Yeah, well, firstly, permission is something that we can just choose to give ourselves right now, right? So to actually realize we're that powerful, we get to choose what we focus on, we get to choose to give ourselves permission. It's just something to recognize that sometimes we've blocked that permission. And if that's the case, we can actually let that go now and choose to allow it. Firstly, I suppose it's valuing it, because, you know, if we don't play and get in that, when we look at kids, they're so creative and so open, and that's how they learn more and they create more and imagine more, and when we can actually tap into that, it opens up our possibilities to be so much more than what they are now. If we keep adulting and kind of staying in more serious mode, we're just going to probably create what we've just got. So play can really open us up. So firstly, valuing that it's actually worth kind of playing with play. For me, one of the things, it's like being in nature and being with kids, and I love the ocean. And so it's finding the things that light you up. I think that allows us to really get into that joyful space of being in our heart and appreciating, and then there's also, of course, trying new things and giving ourselves an opportunity to stretch the comfort zone, or kind of connect in with that thing you really wish you'd always done. Go and take a step towards doing it, right? Like there's so many possibilities. What are some ways you like to play, Daniel?
Oh, wow. Geez, there's so many different ways to play, right? Kind of a big question for me. I guess, like I said, well, hey, I'll go to a basic one, video games. I mean, video games is a way for me to play. Like it's not continuing to work and focus on work or family matters or whatever. Like I can just, oh, it's my, outside of, like, of course I love to play with meditation, right? So like meditation, but then another place I can do it is through something like a video game. Like, okay, I'm gonna play this video game for a little while, mess around. Yeah, I know it doesn't matter really if I win or not, but yet it's so fun to play. And then there's sort of an analysis going on for me. I'm like, okay, why did that happen? How did this happen? And then they go into invincibility mode sometimes, where I get so connected it doesn't matter. Like, just you easily win every time. And like you learn so much about just who we really are, like through everything. Like you get so many opportunities. So just playing like the limitless game, like how limitless can we be? Then once you realize how limitless you can be, then you're like, oh, it doesn't matter. I don't know. Do I need to be able to do all that? I don't know. Like I could just blend in and be like Clark Kent for now, and like that kind of thing. And yeah, I'm so confused right now. I don't know anything. And like, we do that all the time. But it's part of the human journey. Like we're playing, like we know we're limitless. I believe everybody believes that at some level. Like not everybody's like fully awake to it, maybe, but obviously, but we all are aware of it. But we play the limitation game, right? So I'm not the first person to say these things. So it's just this, we're all playing a game, I think, is the thing. You're already playing a game. It's a matter of, are you enjoying the one you're playing? Do you like feeling limited? Do you like feeling victimized? Do you like that? If you don't like it, I mean, just don't, if you don't like what I'm saying, that's fine. No problem. But I'm saying, if you don't like the way your life is, think of it like well, maybe like part of my being is playing these games. Like I can just change the game, like that would totally change everything.
That is so spot on. Like we are actually just playing the game of life, and
Yeah,
we to choose and change it if we want. Like that's how cool it is. So um I just love what you said there. And for me, I think we just need to dance more and laugh more.
yeah, right, exactly, right. Dance to solve it all, right? There's nothing like smiling and dancing to just completely change my state instantly. All I have to do is smile and just shake my hips even. Oh, I'm so happy now. It's that simple. It really is. Try it on, guys. I don't know if it'll work for everybody, but sure works for me. Like it doesn't take much. But the dramatic mind says, "Oh my God, what do I got to do to change this state? I'm so stuck." It might be as simple as smiling and shaking your hips a little bit, listen to a little music. Instantly could be changed. You never know. That's how we are as kids, right? Like most kids anyway. It's like you don't get stuck in states very long. It's like, boom, 90 seconds is a long time, right? Like, oh, wow, okay, I'm not sad anymore. Now I'm happy. After you're just
Yeah.
pulling your eyes out. So we're meant to shift more quickly. I think the more rigid we are in our emotional state, it creates contraction in the body and our system, and it shows up as issues in our life and our body and et cetera. So we've got a chance to just play the game differently, like we came in, usually most of us anyway.
Reminded me, well, two things. One is the breath is a beautiful pathway to just like taking a breath into infinite possibilities and just really allowing that to shift our state it can be done anywhere, anytime. But you reminded me of how fast kids let things go, and that's actually possible for us too. And I love the example. Have with like if you were holding a pen and you were grabbing it tight in your hand, and then you just kind of open your hand and you turn it over and you let go. Like
Right.
that's how simple we can let go.
Yes. I can't seem to let go of this thing. Turn your head over and let go. That's simple. My God. I know it's so crazy. But it's kind of part of the fun too, because it's like, wow, hanging on to that sucker a long time, and I didn't necessarily need to hang on to that emotion or that feeling in that moment so much. So now, as we could talk for hours, of course. So
But number one is stop taking everything so seriously. We're just playing a game.
right, exactly. Sum it all up. So you do have a couple of gifts to share with everybody. Would you go ahead and if you could share? I'd love for you to share that with people now.
Thank you. Well, firstly is the tip sheet on playing more. That's a bit of fun. It's an easy download with a couple of ideas. Would love to hear if anyone starts to come up with some other ideas of what could be on that list. Very happy to hear it, or how, if you start playing with some of those ideas, what the impact it is for you. Secondly is a gift for those who are coaches and healers and wisdom teachers and leaders and people who have the wisdom that they want to share with the world. We have a really cool mini guide that is sharing some of that insight of the research that came out of what I talked about, what Gabby discovered. And it's 8 key insights that the world's best coaches are mastering. What's cool is when you read that, you can also rate yourself on each area, and there's actual ideas on how you can progress in each area. And of course, you can always book a call with me. We can help you talk about next steps to really progress in any of those areas. I guess 8 key areas. One of them is that you need to have a desire to make an impact. If you don't have that one I probably can't help you with, but all the others, if you're lower than you want to be, I can help you with.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you might be able to help with the desire one, I'm sure, but yeah, not always. It depends. Yeah, it depends if it's in their soul or not, right? Something like that.
I'll leave that one for you, Daniel. You can help them.
Right. See Daniel on that one, right? That's funny. Okay. All right. So we've got so check all that out. We'll put the links in the show notes below. I'm definitely going to check it out myself. Particularly, I'm curious about the ones from the best coaches of the world. I love to hear what those tips are. So I'm going to definitely take a look at that. Deb, we got to the point of this show where I do is a couple of 2, 3 downloads for you as we're wrapping up the show. Are you ready to receive?
I'm ready.
All right. All right. Let's see what awesome stuff is coming through for Deb. Now, be fully present during this segment because maybe something I say is going to resonate for you, something maybe you need to hear, audience. Okay, let's take a look. So they're showing me like the creative magic that you are. They're like, insto, presto, here we go. So it's really cool that way. Okay, so it's like this fluid ability to go from imagination and idea into realization. You have like there's a strong ability to do that, and of course, again, it comes from the playful field, right? So many things can be manifested that way through you, and you bring people into that perhaps for sure as well, and you can teach it too. You can teach people how to manifest in this way and live this way. And then I'm picking up on the contraction part that we were referencing earlier, the hurt and whatnot. I'm gonna look into that more because that's trying to say something right now. Let me look into it. Yeah, I just get like this sense of pain. I see like cigarette smoking or something. I see some booze around, but people are like, yeah, that's because she said the bar stuff earlier. They just okay, but like no, I just pick up on it, and then the feeling is just like it's like I feel like although you never maybe part of your consciousness never believed it fully at all, but part of the consciousness could go into like, yeah, those assholes and these people and all, yeah, you know those ones and so like I'm not saying currently, I'm saying like in the past. So there's this wound of like, don't see me, screw you, like you know, like that. I hate to laugh at like seeing something like that looks painful, but like it's so funny at the same time. Like, fine, you don't see me, whatever. Like it just I'll like almost the punishment is like I won't show up. I won't show up. Fine, I won't show up as me. I'll just yeah, fine. I won't. You won't get the blessing of either then. Like it just makes me laugh for some reason. Maybe because you're just so fun to be with overall. So I just see that aspect. And so this is great to bring some illumination to because you can bust people again, as I'm sure you do, on their own patterns with that. Like how people are just punishing themselves and think they're getting after other people. I just want to show up as me. You won't get all the cookies that I could be making for you. Like, so I'm sorry I'm laughing so much. It's just coming out that way. Okay. All right. Let me see. One more. Okay. I could see you could be stronger in your sort of truth and in your grounding. Like, so that's this sword energy, like it comes in maybe into, oh, I don't know, like somewhere around the heart. Maybe it goes deeper sometimes and all that. But overall, it's not like going all the way deep into those lower chakras, completely into the earth of like, yeah, man, I'm a real presence. I'm a force to be reckoned with. More of that kind of energy, just in overall. And because you can be so strong, you can be so powerful. So you got that like this, maybe you could maybe just as a label, like masculine power, almost like, and then you've got like all this magic that you've got. And when you integrate both, like, man, like how incredible that is. So, and you probably do, but like it's the overall grounding factor is wants to go deeper. And so with that sort of truth is what I'm seeing. Okay, so those are some of the things that are coming through, Deb. So I'd love to hear any of your reflections or thoughts. And I don't usually laugh when I see some, so you got all these things. I don't usually do that, but it's the way it came out today. Sorry about that.
I loved it. I loved that you laughed. That's so cool. Yeah, it's really beautiful to actually presence that to conscious, like from now I can consciously ground my
Mhm,
truth
mhm, mhm,
into
mhm.
that in a deeper level. That resonates a lot actually, because yeah, so thank you. It's really,
Yeah.
really cool.
Awesome, awesome, good. I'm glad you enjoyed that. And so everybody, if you want to check me out, go to yoursacredpurpose.com. You can take advantage of my meditate, make money meditation. I always tell you guys about here. Opens your energy up, opens up your chakras, allows the downloads to connect the energy with abundance of money to flow through you. And I always, this is my new line. I defy anybody to listen to that consistently, like nearly every single day, and not see your prosperity take off. It's going to take off. It's proven, it's effective. Check it out at yoursacredpurpose.com. There's also a Rock Your Sacred Purpose energy scan consultation. And through that consultation, which you have to invest in to be able to receive it, I tune into your chakras, your energy, and your gifts and your business, and we start to see what needs to shift or what wants to shift in your energy so that you can be full on you in your business and your mission and your gifts and everything, and start bringing out what wants to come out fully right now. Because most of the people I connect with are going through some kind of transition, whether they're just starting the business or they're busy building their business, and they're kind of shifting there, wanting to up level, or they're transitioning. Like maybe it's not a full pivot in a whole new business, but it's like, man, we really need to change some things. We don't know what it is yet. And then I'm able to tune into that and download that for you. And sometimes it can even happen within that consultation. If not, hey, there's always more, right? So check that out at yoursacredpurpose.com. All right, Deb. So again, so grateful for you. You just create a great atmosphere for people, including me as a host. You just have an energy that has everybody just feeling lighter overall, and just being willing to play and be themselves evermore. So thank you for coming on and sharing all that you have. Such great wisdom.
Thank you, Daniel. I loved being with you. I appreciate you. You're doing great work, and thanks so much for having me.
Sure thing. And to all our listeners, as I always say, keep on tuning in and keep on rocking it here on Spiritual Rockstar Podcast with us. Okay, goodbye for now. Listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.